In this video, I'm going to show you how to edit the settings for forms. Okay, so the settings for forms are quite extensive. So I just wanted to show you around the settings screen. So here we are in settings, and I've selected forms on the left-hand side. And you'll see that there are many different types of form settings here. This has to do with the forms area that looks like this, and that could be consignment form, loan form, shipping forms, all those types of forms, and these settings refer to that file. Okay, so let's just go through the settings here. You've got print currency on all prices or totals only. That essentially means that, let's just say you're in dollars, the dollar symbol wouldn't print on all of the prices next to each artwork. It would only print the dollars on the totals at the bottom. Do you want it to default to always print the image? Now, that's just going to pop it in automatically to here, and then you have the choice of turning it off if you want to on a case-by-case basis, but this is your default. So we'll pop it in as yes for me. Include with address. Do you want it to include the phone, the fax, the email, or all phones that are attached to this contact record? And you can see over here that it has pasted my phone and my fax in because I specified that earlier. Okay, so heading style could be bold, uppercase, underline, and italic. Let's have a quick look at one here that I just created. So this is the heading at the top. It could be, anything that you've specified, maybe the words consignment agreement, whatever it is, and what format do you want that in. These are defaults. Do you want it to default to say yes, print prices, yes, print totals, and then it will also allow you to select what fact sheet information do you want it to default to print on your consignment. So some people only want it to print the provenance and exhibition history, but no literature or other fields that you can enter into the fact sheet area of the inventory. So let's have a look at that. So if we're looking at this particular piece, you can go to the blue dot here, and in this area you can edit the information for this particular consignment. So let's just say if I wanted to change dimensions or something like that on this particular consignment, if I edit this information here, it will not affect your inventory. So in here I can change financials, all of that stuff without, again, affecting my inventory. It just changes it on the form. In here you have something called fact sheet. And in here you can see it will pop in the provenance, exhibition history, literature, and other from your fact sheet area. And you can turn these on and off. So you can say, I want to print this one, but I don't want to print that one in this case, and so on. So these defaults over here in the settings file are what's going to pop into these fields here. Will default print provenance and exhibition history. Auto enter return address on form from. So if you want it to actually default to pop in your address on form from, you can. Okay, price defaults. So coming back to my form, you see when I generated my form, it popped in retail and net for me. That's because I had specified that on the first and second fields for prices, I wanted it to go retail and then net. But you can also pop in your other prices. So maybe you want it to pop in frame price and net price. You can do that too. Okay, more settings here. You can choose form types. So setting up your form types is basically how you specify what kinds of forms you're going to generate. So I've specified I want to generate consignments out, consignments in, loan forms, shipping forms, and on approval forms. If I wanted to add another form, for example, a return form, I could specify it will say return of artwork at the top of the form. I can choose status update. So when I generate a return form, it usually means that I'm going to be sending this artwork back to the artist. I want the status to then say returned. So if I do that, it will pop up a message for me and say, do you want to change the status to returned? And I can say yes. I can also default what my comments say, so I can type some information in here. This would basically be the default terms that pop in at the bottom of my form. Under comments, it would pop in right here. Form templates. So there are 6 different templates you can choose from in ArtBase 10, and you can just click on these to see a larger version of them. So you can specify which form, so you can click through these to see what they look like. You'll see some of them have lines, some of them don't. Some of them, have the consignment number right next to the wording. This one has headers on the left side and then flush left for all this information. And this has a large left-hand letterhead. Okay, so I'm going to select this option number 2 that I like. You can choose Select Template. You can also choose it from here. If you know which one of these you like, you can just choose it. Form comments. So form comments is when you're looking at the form, under the Comments tab, you have this area here. Let's just say there are standard texts that you're constantly typing over and over again. If you choose Insert Saved Comment, you can choose from a list, and it will pop in the text for you. So you can set up those terms here, and you can hit this little edit button here, and it will take you straight to the form comments, which is where we were. And in form comments, you can set up the different kinds of comments that you might want to put in there. Form signature. So this is the area where you can enter a digital signature if you want to. Let's just say you're emailing your forms to people a lot and you don't want to have to sign the form and then scan it and email that. Instead, you can just import your signature, and then it will, when checked off like this, you can have it print right on the form for you. Okay. And this is where you would import that signature. Just hit Import Signature Image. Make sure that it is a JPEG and that it's not too large. You can delete that image by hitting Clear Image. And this is the default. Do you want it to default to always print the signature, or do you want to have to select it every time in here? And here's some shipping terms, so you can have it pop in some shipping form notes if you're always typing the same thing all the time on your shipping forms. You can default this is the particular shipping address that you want it to ship from every time. And your default shipping form header. Do you always want it to pop in as shipping form or pro forma invoice, however you like it to say. Okay, that is forms settings.